silver spoon in your mouth, hard times can strike, and that's just what happened to Donald. He was even forced into the ultimate act of degradation, starring in his own reality show. And soon, the top-rated TV show in the nation starred a total asshole torturing people who were stupid enough to work with him. In addition to 2.5 Men, The Apprentice was also a pretty popular show. This guy has an ego. When Trump bangs a supermodel, he closes his eyes and imagines he's jerking off.
The set of Real Time with Bill Maher, the atmosphere in the studio, is electric. The iconic Real Time with Bill Maher set is buzzing with anticipation as Bill Maher prepares to interview his guests for the night. On the panel, among the usual political commentators and experts, is none other than Seth MacFarlane, creator of Family Guy and The Orville, known for his sharp wit and fearlessness when it comes to tackling the biggest issues. Tonight, however, it's not just politics on the agenda. Seth MacFarlane has come prepared with a truth bomb aimed directly at Donald Trump. Bill Maher, in his typical laid-back but incisive style, begins the segment with a question about the current political climate. Bill Maher: Seth, I have to ask, we've seen you rip apart pretty much everyone on Family Guy, but when it comes to Donald Trump, you've always been one of the harshest critics. What's your take on him now? MacFarlane leans forward in his chair, his trademark humor blending seamlessly with a rare moment of gravitas. Seth MacFarlane: Well, Bill, at this point, I think Trump has transcended the need for a roast. He's more like a punchline that keeps writing itself. The guy is an expert at making the absurd seem normal, which is terrifying when you think about it. The studio laughs, but MacFarlane isn't done. Seth MacFarlane: Look, let's be honest. He's spent years telling people that the truth doesn't matter, that lying is a strategy. He's the guy who once claimed he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and still get votes. And you know what? There are people who still buy into that. It's like watching a magic trick, except the trick is how to destroy democracy 101. The audience reacts, the crowd in the studio erupts into applause at Seth's blunt commentary. MacFarlane is known for his humor, but tonight, he's speaking with an urgency that makes everyone take notice. Bill Maher: Seth, you've got a point. I mean, Trump's like that uncle at Thanksgiving who keeps telling the same stories about how he's the smartest guy in the room, and everyone's too scared to call him out. But you're not scared, are you? Seth MacFarlane: Scared? Oh no, Bill, I'm just getting started. The thing with Trump is, he's built this entire empire on misinformation and chaos. He doesn't care about facts, he doesn't care about integrity, he cares about one thing: himself. And it's working for him, or at least it was, until people like me started saying, you know what, enough is enough. The Trump takedown. Seth pauses, leans in, and delivers the killer line that will have everyone talking. Seth MacFarlane: If Donald Trump were a character in Family Guy, he'd be the guy who thinks his chaotic, self-serving behavior is cute, and somehow gets away with it because no one's willing to tell him the truth. But you know what? No one's laughing anymore. Not at the jokes, and certainly not at the man behind the curtain. The audience erupts into applause once more, some even standing. MacFarlane, as effortlessly as ever, doesn't miss a beat. Seth MacFarlane: The sad thing is, he still has people out there who believe every word he says, even when it's clearly a lie. And that's not funny, Bill, that's terrifying. The backlash and Trump's response within hours of the broadcast, social media lights up. #Seth MacFarlane: Ifs Trump trends worldwide as clips of his savage takedown go viral. Trump's supporters immediately start reacting. The usual suspects in conservative media, including Fox News, are quick to fire back. Tucker Carlson, on his primetime show, slams MacFarlane as an overpaid Hollywood elitist who doesn't understand the real America. Seth MacFarlane thinks he's funny. But what's truly laughable is his complete inability to understand the will of the people, Carlson says. Trump himself, never one to back down from a fight, quickly tweets, Donald Trump: Seth MacFarlane is another Hollywood liberal who's never worked a real day in his life. He's a joke, just like his failed TV show. Sad, but despite Trump's usual bravado, the sentiment online is mixed. Many Trump supporters rally to his side, but a growing number of independent voters, and even former Republicans, begin questioning the status quo. The fallout continues. The reaction to Seth MacFarlane's comments continues to build. Political analysts and late-night hosts alike begin discussing the implications of what Seth said, and it becomes clear that his words have struck a chord. Trevor Noah, on The Daily Show, dedicates an entire segment to MacFarlane's remarks, praising him for his courage in speaking out. Seth MacFarlane just gave us the best roast of Trump, but more importantly, he reminded us all that truth matters. In an era where reality feels like a game of who wants to be a billionaire with no rules, MacFarlane's message is simple: if we don't stand up for the truth, we risk losing everything. Meanwhile, in the political sphere, Republican strategists are starting to whisper that Trump's antics, once seen as an asset, are now a liability. In battleground states, independent voters are beginning to show signs of disillusionment with the former president. The long-term impact over the following weeks, MacFarlane's words continue to reverberate throughout the political discourse. His comments on Real Time with Bill Maher spark a larger conversation about the moral and ethical responsibilities of those in power, and whether a country can survive when its leaders openly reject truth. Meanwhile, Seth MacFarlane himself becomes something of an unlikely hero for those who've grown weary of the divisiveness and misinformation of the Trump era. His candid takedown of the former president resonates with those who've been searching for a voice that can speak truth to power without fear. The growing movement as the weeks pass, the aftershocks of Seth MacFarlane's On a Day Down ripple through the political world. The response is still loud, but the conversation is changing. Former Trump supporters, those who have been quietly questioning his leadership, start to feel emboldened. Many of them have spent years defending a man who, in MacFarlane's words, has turned lies and chaos into his brand, but now they're re-evaluating. Susan, a former Trump supporter from Florida, appears on a local news station discussing her changing views. "I've been a Republican my whole life, but Seth MacFarlane's comments made me realize something. I've been ignoring the truth for too long. It's not about party anymore, it's about what's right for the country," she admits, her voice cracking with emotion. Across the country, similar stories begin to emerge. Independent voters, disillusioned with the constant stream of divisive rhetoric, are slowly moving away from Trump's influence. Pew Research reports a noticeable.
I think anyone was offended. I think Charlie is probably a bit more, human. So I think maybe he probably got to him a little more. But no, anyone who signs up for that knows what they're in for. And both of them on the day were good sports.
That's interesting considering how thin-skinned Donald Trump is. But on the flip side, he loves people talking about him. So that must have been a very odd day for him.
Yeah, it's an odd.
Configuration.
Isn't that on the Bob Hare checklist in the psychopath test?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Doesn't matter what they're saying.
I was supposed to fire the
Trump's vulnerability exposed for the first time since he entered the political spotlight. Donald Trump seems rattled. His usual bravado, which once shielded him from criticism, is starting to feel fragile. The media landscape is no longer a place where he can control the narrative with a tweet or a rally. Seth MacFarlane's words echo every time Trump speaks, reminding Americans of the fundamental question they've been avoiding: what does truth really mean in politics? Trump, trying to counter the growing momentum against him, holds an impromptu rally in Pennsylvania. However, this time, the energy feels different. His usual combative rhetoric doesn't land as it once did. Some of his supporters, who have followed him through every scandal, begin to fidget uneasily in their seats. They've heard it all before, the same lies, the same denials, but something about the force of Seth's words, cutting through the noise with brutal honesty, is starting to stick. At one point, a man in the crowd raises a sign that reads, "Tell the truth." It's a small moment, but it's a symbolic one. The message is clear: Trump's grip on his base is weakening, and his carefully crafted image is starting to crack. As Seth MacFarlane's influence continues to spread, a new wave of political leaders rises, embracing honesty and transparency. The fight for truth has sparked a cultural shift, inspiring a generation to demand better from their leaders. Trump's once unquestionable grip on the political scene begins to fade, and the nation embraces a future built on integrity. MacFarlane's words resonate louder than ever, reminding America that truth will always prevail. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more updates on the changing political landscape. Your voice matters, and we're just getting started.